Daniel's mom, when we told her what we are going to do, she's like, so you're going to leave your good paying job to do that? And she was like, well, how you going to pay the light bill? And I'm like, the light bill is the least of our worries. It's the mortgage payment that we should be worried about.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back, Married People's Business podcast. I am Shalise Tober here with my handsome co-host.
You know where to get your bread buttered.
Hey.
Your handsome co-host, Michael Tober.
Yes, I do not play that game.
Of course.
So,
we got company now. You showing out already.
Look, I just keep it real. So today's guests, we have Daniel and Monica Edwards of the Morehead Manor Bed and Breakfast out of Durham. Did I say that country enough? Durham, North Carolina. North Carolina.
North Carolina. Durham is my place that I love to visit, man. We just were there for our anniversary.
Right. Welcome you all. How you doing today?
Doing well. How are you all? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too. And we're so grateful and thankful that you gave us your time. And we've been getting reached out to a lot about from people in our audience that want to talk about how to reach their dreams and how to start a business. And, God has a way of putting you in line with the right people. So when Shalise and I went to the wonderful town of Durham, North Carolina, God put us in place with you two beautiful people. And we were just so inspired by your story and by your business and how you were able to penetrate a very competitive bed and breakfast market. So Shalise, women are always on the ball on this stuff. She's like, they would be great for our podcast.
I've been inspired by, some creativity to my right here, and he sparks those things. So when he came up with, the location where you all were, we try to do our little getaways for our anniversary. This was perfect. And just seeing you all interact and just a wonderful business, I was like, we got to have them on the podcast.
Absolutely. So if you would just tell us a little bit about your business, Morehead Manor. We've been there, so we've tried the location, and it's just a phenomenal place. But just tell our audience a little bit about yourselves and about your business.
Well, my name is Daniel, and this is my wife, Monica. We've been here at Morehead Manor now since 1997. We started off entertaining family and friends throughout the years, and we came upon an opportunity to do something different. Monica always tells the story. I love the way she tells the story of how we began. A gift
certificate.
Yeah.
I was my background is in human resource management and accounting, and the company that I was working for was about to had been purchased, and we were downsizing. They were going to close our office and move the operations to the Northeast. And with all the stress that went along with that, one of Daniel's coworkers gave him a gift certificate to a local bed and breakfast for us to stay for a night. So he planned a getaway, now call it a staycation, at a local B&B. And that was 20, almost 30 years ago when, of course, North Carolina was one of the last states to get the lottery. So if you wanted to play the lottery, you had to drive across the state line. So one of our days was to drive across the state line and buy lottery tickets. And on the way back, Daniel's like, well, do you mind if I put a blindfold on you? And I was like,
Uh-oh.
Now this is not a rated R podcast.
No, it's not a rated R.
Right. Just checking. But y'all married folks, so it would be all right. You know what I mean?
Yes,
It'll be all right.
So he put me in the front seat of the car with the blindfold on and started to drive me in a direction that I had no clue where we were going.
Then we got back here, and I had already set things out at the bed and breakfast, and it was just a wonderful adventure. We were able to get her in there blindfolded. The innkeepers, they were very welcoming, which had an influence on us. I mean, just being able to welcome a person into your home and be able to educate, entertain, and just show hospitality. That was good. We had never seen it firsthand, and that what started it. And we set out. We said we'll do this when we retired, and lo and behold, And fate would have it, we ended up starting long before. Didn't know that this would have been um, the blessings for us and that we get to share with the world.
And share with the world you do. Shalise and I, like I said before, we visited your bed and breakfast for our anniversary. And you know, when I saw Daniel, I was like, that's a smart man, because he did just what I did. He went and got him a woman that can count. You know, so I looked at Monica's her resume, and I saw she had that accounting degree. I said, Daniel, look at my man Daniel. Just all the brothers, you got to get you a woman that can count, because they won't
Yes, it
steal
was.
from you. They won't
Yes, it was.
steal your little monies,
Oh
your
my
little pennies.
goodness.
So Daniel, good job. Kudos to you for picking a woman that can count.
Well, not only can she count, she's always pushed me to be better.
Oh,
She
of
has
course.
caused me to do even more research when there's times that we're going to make a decision. And because of that, we've been able to be a dynamic duo in approaching we've taken on. But the end, I guess, has been what we've become known for. So in 1997, we found a property that was not for sale, and we got it on a phone call. And that was a story in itself. I won't bore your people with that, but the bottom line is, uh, and to be a faithful people and having good communications with each other. That was the foundation that got us to where we are. Had no clue it was going to happen then. We said it would be later on in life, but it was my therapist, and it was that which allowed us to take more ownership on our own financial destination.
Well, Daniel, before, I know Shalise has a lot of great questions for you, and before I ask you another question, well, before I let Shalise ask you a question, because I know she has a lot to ask Monica and yourself. One of the things that I really, really want to flush out in this podcast is the concept of a bed and breakfast. Could you explain to our audience what is a bed and breakfast and what makes it different? Because you know how people are. People get picky.
Well,
People like their Marriotts, they like their hotel, they Holiday
that's true.
Inns, they like all these staple name brand
Mhm.
things. So what is the difference? But what makes you different from the Marriott or the Holiday Inn or maybe some hotel chain?
Size and personal service. Um,
Mm,
that's the key difference. You're no longer, room 428. You get to be Michael and Shalise.
Yes,
Yeah, it's a small scale luxury hotel. That's the easiest way we can tell people.
I like that.
Well, the
I
other
do
thing
too.
I was going to say, the other thing we have to designate ourselves for is we are a traditional bed and breakfast versus an Airbnb. Different.
Okay.
Um, Oftentimes Airbnbs are unregulated. They're not inspected by the health department or the fire department, but we have to be inspected by the health department as well as the fire department, and we have certain guidelines that we have to operate by.
Mhm.
So, Daniel, when you were talking, you were saying you all thought this might have been something later in life. And both of you all were working in your careers, right? At the
Mhm.
time that you kind of discovered the property, right?
Yep. Yes, we
So
were.
what was it that said, okay, let's do it now?
A wild hair.
Mama wasn't happy.
Yeah, yeah. Monica wasn't happy in her job at the time, and I've always wanted to be an interior designer. And and as I said, we've always been having people live with us, and we've entertained. But the
Okay.
perfect formula.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
when we stayed at our first B&B, I looked at him and I said, "You mean we can do this and get paid?" Because ever since we've been together, we've had people living with us, be it family members, friends, friends of friends, people who needed temporary housing for a period of time, and they've come and lived with us. And I was like, "We can do this and get paid. I'm
Mhm.
all for this."
there you go. See, there's that number, those numbers right there, that
Yeah.
background. I love it. And, I have to say, let our audience know that you all are very welcoming as you talk about how you had people stay with you over the years before you actually opened up. You were very inviting while we were staying there. I felt like I had known you all and we were part of the family and met your friend circles and know about the competitions that you have. So, uh, it's interesting to me as to how you have a business also in the place where you reside. So how does that dynamic work for you?
That's a delicate balance, first of all, because just like, I mean, we are a business uh, who happens to be residents of that. And, how much of my guests how much of you do you need of us? So we have to figure that out within the first 5 seconds of our meeting. And we will plan it out how we're going to entertain with people, whether or not you need a lot of service or a lot of FaceTime or very little. We've had guests, they've checked in, didn't see them no more until they checked out. And we've had guests that follow us around from room to room, helping us clean rooms.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's
Yeah. So it can
interesting.
go from one extreme to the other.
So also the other thing that I found very interesting about your property is the history of this home. So you want to tell us a little bit about the history of the property and even, tell us about you guys have it's pretty large, 5 suites
Yeah,
and
it's a mansion. It's a
yeah.
colonial, looks like a colonial style mansion that goes back. I want to say, I don't want to misspeak. Does it go back
1910.
to the 19, early 1900s?
Yeah.
1910.
Built in
Wow,
1910. Yeah.
that
So the
is
house was
fascinating.
originally, yeah, the house was originally built by James Cobb, who was one of Durham's founding tobacconists. And he lived here until he passed away in the mid to late 30s.
Mhm.
And one of his colleagues, well, he was actually the president of the Venerable Tobacco Company, which eventually got bought out by Liggett and Myers Tobacco Company. There were two major tobacco companies that survived and lasted a long time in Durham. One was Liggett and Myers, the other was the American Tobacco Company. Passed away, his colleague bought the house from his widower and moved his family here. And I think they had 3 kids already and had a fourth son when they were here in the late 30s. And that family lived here until the father passed away in the mid 60s. And at that point, he left 1/4 interest to each one of his kids. And his oldest son bought the house from his brothers and sisters and moved in here and went and found a wife and moved her in here. And they had a family of 4, I'm sorry, 2.
Mhm.
And that's the actual person that we bought the house from, the gentleman.
Yeah.
And so we're the
Third,
third owner, third
third family.
family, fourth owner of the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That brings up a really intriguing question that I had from the time I met you and knowing the story of your bed and breakfast business and how you acquired this property. It doesn't appear that the bed and breakfast industry is very diverse. I believe when I saw some of the research, it's about 30,000 bed and breakfasts in the United States, and
Mhm.
about less than 1% of them are African American owned. Are those statistics still true? If they changed, could you share
Um,
that with our viewers? And how do you navigate that space, knowing that there's really a lack of diversity in the arena?
um, it's a growing industry and it's something that's new to the African American community. I can tell you that since COVID, we've probably seen more African American travelers stay with
What do you
us.
attribute that to?
Um,
People still wanting to get out.
People wanting to get
Yeah.
out. Plus, there's been a big initiative to buy black. I think with
Hmm.
some of the things that happened during COVID
And George
and
Floyd.
George Floyd, the initiative to support local and black owned businesses has really done a really good job of getting us out there.
Mhm.
Now, I think I heard you say in one of the interviews before we talked to you today. I thought I heard in one of your interviews where you traced the origins of the bed and breakfast industry back uh, to a time where African Americans couldn't stay in hotels. Um,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
what could you share that with our audience? Because that was very fascinating to me in terms of I didn't know that history.
Well, if you think about it, when we travel previously during segregation, hotels were not an option for Black people. So technically, you stayed at tourist. People use the Green Book, which is a big thing that
Right.
people are trying to bring back to be able to
Yes.
find, to locate places that you
Friendly.
can, friendly places
For
that
people
you
of
could,
color.
people of color. And I guess it's, it can carry over to other ethnicities or other groups of people, like the Damron Guide, which basically, or the Purple Roost, that basically have gay or LGBT friendly locations that people can feel safe to stay at.
Right. Yeah, very, very fascinating. So you got the itch to start this business. And I saw in your bio, Daniel, that you were a police officer in Durham. And also what I thought was interesting too, Monica is originally, I believe, from North Carolina, and Daniel is from Newark, New Jersey. So Daniel not only got him a woman that can count, but he came to the South and got him a Southern belle, you know.
Yeah.
Now, how did that happen? How did you meet this city slicker, Monica?
Um, for fear of incrimination.
Oh, was Daniel giving you a traffic ticket?
No,
Nope.
no. We actually met through a local, a common friend.
Yeah.
A common
And we
friend.
met at
Oh,
a
okay.
party.
Yeah, we met at
Yeah.
a party.
Yeah. And we've been together ever since. Yeah, I was an officer here in the city for 30 years and has always served as my uh, therapist. Not wanting to become the cop that I see or we see throughout the nation that's
Yes.
created such a blight on law enforcement. Because thing can be a bad thing. And I did
Right.
not want that. So I want to protect my mental health as much as possible by allowing myself the chance and space and opportunity to be around people that weren't criminal, that just were good people. Because the truth of it, 90% of the population, they're good people. But it's
Yeah.
just that small percentage I work with on a daily basis that could cause a person.
Yeah.
That's a podcast in and of itself. So we might have to
Absolutely.
have you back on that one
Yeah.
because I saw that you're a certified hostage negotiator too. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
I've been negotiating for now for over 15 years. Yeah, I
Wow.
love climbing up into folks' heads, trying to understand what's going on, trying to get to a point where we can connect because everyone being able to hear their story and meeting them at their level of needs at that time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that movie with Samuel L. Jackson, the negotiator, how real was that?
That was pretty good. They did their research on that because if you look
okay?
at the trailer on that one, they actually did some really. I believe they checked in with LA County, so that was
Oh,
Right.
pretty
wow.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
So then this becomes your therapy. How much
Mhm.
did you all have to put into um whether it's renovations or anything like that into the property once you acquired it?
Well, we said it was 8,000 square feet. Plus, we have a outbuilding with a 4-car garage. We've touched every floor and every wall, floor, and ceiling on this property.
Yeah. And did you do it yourselves or you bring
Yeah.
people in?
Initially, we came in and we went through over 300 gallons of paint in about 60 days. I lost 15
Oh my
pounds. I had
God.
taken off
How
about a
much
month
paint?
and a half. 300 gallons.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
yeah, yeah. We got it in. We got.
And that was after, because this is a 1910 colonial revival
Mhm.
style house that was pretty much kept
Period.
in period
Yeah.
form. All the walls had wallpaper on them. So
Yeah.
back in 1910, they put wallpaper on ceilings and
Mhm.
and walls.
Yeah.
So
We stripped wallpaper
For
for
over
quite a
2 weeks.
yeah.
oh,
So we got people that are listening that are probably in jobs that they might like or might not like, and they have this big grandiose idea to maybe open up their own business. Not necessarily a bed and breakfast, it could be something else. What intrigued me about your story is that both of you were very successful, highly successful in other careers before you started this venture. So I am very curious in terms of what sparked you to leave a successful venture. You were human resources, accounting background. Daniel was a hostage negotiator. He's working for the police department. Very very successful in those careers. sometimes it's very difficult for people to leave success without knowing what's going on in the unknown. So I'm curious as to your story for both of you. What made you leave successful careers to venture out into the unknown?
Well, I think you have to have a plan, number one. As I said, I was working in the biotech industry, and the company got bought, and they basically were closing our office. I ended up taking a position as a trust tax officer in a regional bank. Again, God puts you in places for reasons. I think my purpose for going to the trust department, because I'll tell anybody, my knowledge of trust was I trust you, you trust me. That was when I took the job at the trust department. But because I had an MBA and I was very willing to learn, I was like, I'll try it, which is basically has helped us because loved ones, and we've had to deal with the state paperwork and all that other stuff. So there was a learning process in that.
But I think the biggest piece in all of it is after we had to plan together, we had to have faith. We had to have faith. We had to have faith in each other. We had to have faith in God. And we just had to just jump out there. You know, we literally had to decide at some point who's going to come home, because a business needs its owners. Somebody needs to be able to touch it, feel it, and make it grow. And we weren't doing it justice by both of us being away.
Yeah.
So Monica won the coin toss, and she got to come home.
Yeah. Yeah, but both of you all are such an integral part of it now. And Daniel, you retired, right, from the police force?
Yeah, I retired 4 years ago.
Okay. So, I mean, you all are both so actively involved, it makes it such a great experience to have you both involved, and you definitely bring your personalities to everything. So you all didn't have any previous hospitality, quote unquote, hospitality experience, right?
We did somewhat. I grew up in Southern Pines, North Carolina, which is right next door to Pinehurst. Most people know that for golf. And the area is considered as the Mid-South resort. My first job out of college, beverage manager / assistant controller for a resort in the area. So I did have a little bit of experience, not nearly as much as I need or needed to run the inn, but we were determined that this was something that we were going to do. Right now, what we tell people, if there is something that you want to do, find someone that's doing it and attach yourself to that person. And so you can determine whether or not this is really something that you want to do. So you can learn about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And it's always the other educational piece. When I was an undergrad, I was a housekeeper. I worked over at the hospital in housekeeping, operating rooms. Had no clue that those skills would be, one of my staples. I know how to clean. So when we start trying to pull a business plan together, you need to know who can do what, because if you try to outsource everything, that can hurt. So we've had hospitality, we've had food service, as well as environmental backgrounds, and we were able to just come through here and pull together with a little personality.
A lot of personality.
Definitely.
A lot of you guys are great. And the thing that always fascinates me about business ownership is a lot of times what people see is the glitz and the glamour, and they don't see the process on what it took to get there. So I'm sure the house that we saw when we came to visit and celebrate our anniversary was not the house that you initially saw that made you say, hey, this is what we want to do. Take our audience through that, the first time both of you actually went into this house and saw it. And what did you say? Did you say, oh my God, this is the house that you see now? Or did you think I don't know if this will work?
I was excited. I was excited to the point where Monica shushed me when I brought her back over here to see the house. In my heart, I've always been an interior designer. And I saw it as my greatest palette just to play with. So yes, the vision that you see now in my head for decades. So this is my opportunity to pull all those thoughts and just play, create a space where, as we say, where elegance, hospitality, and excitement meet.
Wow.
Well, the other thing I think, as a couple in business, you have to understand what your lane is. Um, Daniel is a very creative, visionary person, and he has lots of things bottled in his head. When you guys got here, you saw the outdoor spaces that have been remodeled. Well,
Yes.
Daniel is responsible for all that. In the process of tearing up the yard, at one point there was a muddy swimming pool in the backyard, and I was not very excited because I'm like, we have guests coming today, honey. How are people going to get to the back door? And
We built a ramp.
we had to build a ramp with a wooden horse for people to walk up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, insurance liability, what's happening here? And he has all this stuff in his head, and he's excited, and he gets upset because I'm not excited, because I can't see the vision that's in his head. And then when he tries to put a pen to paper, I'm like, I don't. And then in the process, he may change something around and says, "Look what I did," and I'm like, I don't quite understand the big picture, but I've learned that to trust him, because he's such a visionary when it comes to his creativity. Now,
Daniel, you got to show numbers. She's a numbers person. I'm with a numbers person myself, so I know exactly. You can't get that 300-gallon of paint. Yeah, she ain't moved by that paint.
Yeah.
She moved by arithmetic.
She helped lay that paint.
Yeah, I mean, I as long as I can give him a budget and say, okay, if this is what you want to do, I'm going to give you this budget, and you work within it, we're good. It's when you come back with a budget modification, it might be
call those change orders. That's a change order.
So as you tell that story, you all, as Michael alluded to earlier, you left, successful jobs and careers, or you put this first. What did your family members and friends think?
Well, supportive. Daniel's mom, when we told her what we're going to do, she's like, "So you're going to leave your good paying job to do that?" And she was like, "Well, how you going to pay the light bill?" And I'm like, "The light bill is the least of our worries. It's the mortgage payment that you should be worried about." But they eventually came around to see what our vision was.
The problem when you do anything, I tell folks, when you turn right and everyone else is turning left, you set yourself up in judgment. I got some bad backlash from family, friends, and coworkers, to the point where I became paranoid. I never forget the day I had to cut the grass. I'm out there pulling the lawn, and it wouldn't start. And I'm sitting in the driveway crying like a 4-year-old. It has nothing to do with the lawnmower. It was the ridicule, the questions, just the comments and conversations from family, friends for about almost a year, that just caused, it was a backup. And I just that was my emotional break. And from there, we were able to come back and be stronger. But yeah, family, friends, they can not always be your best support. Our support came from strange places. People who just randomly walked in, people we had never met before. They gave us encouragement. They were there. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, baby. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that's important for our audience to hear, because as we talk about how to make your dreams come true, like you just said, family, friends may not always be supportive of that. They may not always see your vision, and they may not know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, especially if you're doing something that not a lot of people that look like you are doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Why you want to do that?"
Yeah.
You're going to have people, strangers that you don't know, that's going to touch your stuff. What? Yeah.
I can see that being because as African Americans, sometimes we tend to be very careful. And so the whole concept of letting someone in your home that's a stranger, I can see where culturally that could be an issue.
Yes, it becomes a mental security nightmare for many people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was for Daniel for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, police officer.
Yeah. I had to adjust. I was my 7th, 8th year. I was rookie. So I was still feeling myself, and walking to a restaurant, couldn't a place with my back against it. I mean, I had to have my back up against the door. So yeah, it was a educational journey.
Yeah, he didn't want to. We didn't have a key for guests to use for entry for
Initially.
initially for probably maybe almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and that was kind of difficult because um people that were very happy, especially local people, to know that we were here. And they were like, well, when my family comes, I'm just going to bring them over and show them. And they knew that the back door was open.
And
So
they
they
would
would just, they
do
would
it.
just walk into the
Oh
house.
wow.
So
That is insane.
we,
Oh
we had
wow.
some guests that was checking in late, and I told Monica, go ahead, go to bed. I'll sit up and I fell asleep in the living room on the couch. I'm awakened to this wet, nasty feeling on my face. How about the neighbors walk their family members up here with their dog, a Great Dane, and the dog was in my face, licking me. I was done. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We changed the entry system the next day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up another issue. Like, so how long did it take? You got the property acquired. You know, you've done your decorations and you're up and running. How long did it take before you started to hit your stride and before you started to realize, hey, this dream that we had of having a bed and breakfast is actually materialized, and this was the right move?
Oh no, we had guests before we closed on the property.
Yeah.
So
Oh
we
wow.
were in motion. We listen, when I say faith, we were in Walmart 2 o'clock in the morning buying paint and stuff. And we're standing in the line talking to people. Say, next in April, we're gonna open a bed and breakfast. I need for you. We had the name, we had the cards, we had the telephone number. We were marketing to people all the time. We
Praise
were
God.
it.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Praise God. That is
yes,
a wonderful
yeah.
story. So tell us about the manor. Tell us about the layout. We already talked about how big it is. It's like
Mhm,
8,000 square feet. I think we
mhm,
stayed in the Magnolia room, which is the biggest
yeah,
room you have,
yeah,
but you have a
Magnolia
lot of
Suite.
other
yeah,
different the suite.
yeah,
You have a
yeah.
lot of other different rooms. Could you tell our audience kind of the layout of the manor and kind of the amenities and the
Sure.
process in terms of what you do once you check in?
Yeah, okay. So in our office areas are downstairs. We have, of course, the first stop is the office because we got to take care of the business. Then from there, we have a living room, which is Preston's parlor. That's where the television and entertainment is. As you guys realized when you were here, we don't have televisions in our guest rooms. And that was strategically done because we want you to have a different experience than what you have at home. And most people have televisions in their bedrooms at home, which is a big distraction from spending time with one
Mhm.
another while
Thank you
you're
very
on
much
a
for that, Monica. I was able to smooch. I was able to smooch with mine while I was down there. So
We
There
don't
you
have a
there
go.
you
television
go.
in our room. We don't have a
in the
television in our
Okay.
guest room, we
bedroom.
do.
Yeah, but we don't sleep in there. So
But go ahead. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Anyway.
Yeah. But then we have the library, which is right off from the Pecan Dining Room, which is where we serve breakfast. And a lot of times guests are gathering in the library. And that's also another place for people to hang out. There's a gas log fireplace both in the parlor as well as the library. Pecan Dining Room is where the magic happens in the morning. We serve breakfast, and it's a chef choice. We typically tap in with our guests to find out if anybody has dietary restrictions. We try to accommodate those dietary restrictions.
And we serve breakfast with individual tables. Unlike some other bed and breakfasts, they may have one big
Hmm.
when we can comfortably accommodate tables for all 5 rooms that we have. So you may be on a special weekend and don't want to sit at a communal table. So we acknowledge people in their space.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
No,
then we
I
have,
go
go
ahead. I'm
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead. I'm sorry.
like I said, we have the butler's pantry, which is basically our guest snack area, which most people are intrigued by that because there's a refrigerator in there that was built into the house in 1910.
Yeah.
And we stock it with soft drinks. There's also a 24-hour beverage station in there where guests can have access to coffee, tea, and hot chocolate, as well as snacks in a microwave to warm up maybe leftovers or even popcorn.
Mhm.
And then all of our guest rooms are on the second floor. We have 5 guest rooms. You guys were in the Magnolia Suite, which is our largest guest room. It has a king size wooden canopy bed with lights in the headboard. There's a sitting area in the room with an electric firebox, as well as a separate sitting area that has a love seat and a desk. So it works out for someone who's here on business as well. You can have that extra space to sit down and write things at a desk. Most of our rooms do have a working type of surface that if you're here on business, you can work. Um, right next door to the Magnolia Suite is adjoining the Magnolia Suite is our Orchid Room. It's a queen room. That's a little bit small. It's actually our smallest guest room. Then as we move around, there is a sitting area at the top of the stairs. At one point, there was a business space there. We had a computer that had a printer for people to print their boarding passes and things such as that. But as technology changes, we've updated things. The other king room is the tiger room, which oversees the rear garden area and the driveway. It has a king size wrought iron canopy bed, which is surrounded by windows. Then we have the Eagles Inn, named aptly after the fact that Daniel and I are North Carolina Central University Eagles.
All right.
It has two queen size beds in it, and I guess the special feature for that bathroom has a 7-head shower, which is original to the room. And then we have the Jasmine room, which is our other queen room. All of our rooms do have their own private baths. Our rates include complimentary beverages, desserts, as well as a full breakfast. We have wonderful bath amenities in our guest rooms that are locally sourced. That are, I think, 100% natural. And we have nice, comfortable Morehead Manor monogram robes in all of our guest rooms.
Just a great location. And I tell you, for people that are listening and watching, you go to these Holiday Inns, you get a little crusty piece of bacon.
No.
Not at this location.
We enjoy food. We don't believe in wasting your teeth on bad food.
Oh, the food was so good. I mean, I think there was a carrot cake.
Yes,
you had
sir.
a carrot. Yeah, I had a piece of your carrot cake that is, that Daniel made that, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, Daniel is like a world-renowned carrot cake connoisseur, or whatever you want to call it.
That's right.
And then I'm not even a waffles person, but it was you made like a gluten-free waffles for us that was just so good.
Yeah, zucchini pecan waffles.
Yes. Oh my God, those were so good.
I think we got to go. We gonna have to go back. Maybe we have to need maybe a New Year's Day for something.
They were really good. I mean, seriously, it's not here's some eggs and bacon and waffle or pancake type of deal. There was something different every day, and we definitely appreciated that because we call ourselves health conscious, and the breakfasts were health conscious, not too heavy, and they were good,
Yes.
So it wasn't just, hey, here goes some egg whites to keep it moving.
Now,
so what is the future? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We want to make sure all of our guests enjoy wonderful foods.
So what does the future hold in store for Morehead Manor, and where do you want to take it? Can you hear me?
Yeah, are you there?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we've been doing it now 26 years. We've had conversations about getting to 30 and basically do a reevaluation at that point. Where are we mentally, physically, financially, and decide. I think that everything at some point comes to an end when it comes to business. There's time to shift. So we're talking about possibly doing a co-op. So go from a bed to a co-op, to assistant living, to a nursing home, to you just happen to leave. So, I mean, there's no need to move as far as we, physically right now. I mean, we're in the middle of the city. We're 2 blocks away from downtown. It's a walkable area, and it's a safe area.
Yeah, you guys had some good things going on too. I think you had some collaborations. We had just missed, I think the week before, you said you had jazz there, and you've got those types of entertainment. So it's not just here, it's just us. You guys are collaborating with others to make the experience just as full as it can be.
And what I appreciate about you two as a married couple is that you're just not a taker, you're a giver, and your resume speak for that. You're very intricately involved in the community. Again, Daniel, you were a police officer, so that comes natural But Monica, I know that your resume is littered with a lot of different community activity involvement. Are you still the president of the North Carolina Bed and Breakfast Inns Association? Can you hear?
Yes, I'm former president of that. I currently am on the educational committee for the Association of Lodging Professionals, which is the National Association for Bed and Breakfast and Inn Owners, or I should say lodging properties, because we have a wonderful array of different types of establishments that fall under that organization.
You're also in the hospitality.
Yes, I work with local Durham Tech as well as North Carolina Central's hospitality programs, and training anybody who wants to become a bed and breakfast owner.
And Daniel, you're a certified life coach, and believe that you're also an instructor with NC Justice, at the NC Justice Academy. Are you still doing some instructing there?
Well, I am a certified life coach as well as a mental health therapist. I'm currently adjunct professor at North Carolina Central University in the criminal justice program, and which I love. It gives me that opportunity to reach back and educate, because it's a full 180 for me, because I went to undergrad there, and to now be a professor there is my honor.
And
Oh,
see,
that's great.
that's the key for me, for you two. You're the consummate power couple, and what you show is examples of if you want to be successful in business, you just can't create the business and think things are going to just happen. You have to be good stewards of not only your business, but also to be a staple in the community. And both of you do that. And the thing that fascinates me about your business that separates you from hotels is I've stayed at a lot of hotels, and not one person at the hotel can tell me intricately what to do in the community, where to go, what's safe, what's not safe, where to eat. And I felt like I was staying with a relative when I came to your establishment, because you knew where to go, you knew where not to go, you knew, all the great places to eat. And that shows that you just had a pulse on the community.
Well, we consider ourselves ambassadors for the city.
Yeah. And that you are.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Yeah.
Well, you all are doing a great job, and I'm sure we will be returning for sure. So,
All right.
Yes.
Don't be playing with our emotions. I remember I was the police. I'll come find you.
That's right. That's right.
look, you don't have to worry about me not returning. We are all for supporting Black-owned businesses. And so as we had such a great time there, like I said in the very beginning, you all were so welcoming. And I was like sitting there, what we didn't talk about in detail was the competitions that ensue on Thursday nights. Was it Thursday nights?
Yeah, Thursday night
Bocce
bocce.
ball?
Yes.
Yeah, y'all, look, we
Yeah.
got to have them back so they can talk about this trophy and how they pass this trophy around.
Oh,
It's
it.
serious business, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
but it's a fun time. And I sat out there, Michael went up and had to do some work. I sat out there, I was entertained and talking with everybody, but it was, you all, like Michael said, it was like being with relatives. And
Yeah.
that is what makes me say we are definitely coming back. So we
Mhm.
thank you for joining us today, taking time out to talk. Let our audience know how they can find you: social media, website, any upcoming events.
and what do they have to do to check in? Like, how do they get to your place, your establishment?
The easiest way to find us is online. Our website is moreheadmanor.com. We're out there on Facebook as Morehead Manor, as well as on Instagram as Morehead Manor. All of our handles are pretty much the same. If there's something that you can't find on our website or any of our other social media accounts, you can call us or you can send us a text message, and I'll be more than happy to answer questions for you.
Thank you very much. And we really appreciate you giving us the time, and many, many blessings on you and your business. And we hope to see you guys very soon. We thank you for the hospitality. We thank you for your time today. And we appreciate you. Thank you.
No, we thank you, because you had no clue who we were. We didn't know you. And this is just an example of the magic that happens here. My attitude is thank you for allowing us to be a part of your journey. and then come to find out that you two have such a rich life that you have in a platform. So no, thank you for let's bringing this thing together, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
So for
we
your
got,
audience that wants a more in-depth version of the story, they can always make their
That's
reservation
right.
and
yes,
come and sit at the table, and we'll conversation with them.
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we're wrapping it up. You want to tell our subscribers what they need to do?
What you need to do, if you like this interview and you like the Married People's Business platform and content, we need you to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and share this wonderful story of Morehead Manor and all the wonderful things that this beautiful couple is doing, and just support them. More importantly,
Yeah.
go and support, have that carrot cake, and go visit beautiful Durham, North Carolina, and just support this business.
Yep, you can find us on YouTube. You can listen to us on any platform where you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. And make sure you like on those audio platforms, make sure you like, share, and follow it, because it allows us to make more great content like this.
All right. Thanks for tuning into Married People's Business.
Thank you very much. God bless.